my phone right here.
Hey, it's unfortunate we have to come live with unfortunate breaking news that it seems as though that Sid Eudy, also known as Psycho Sid, also known as Sid Vicious, also known as Sid Justice, has passed away.
Yeah,
So
it was a post on Facebook from his son Gunner that says, "In memory of my father Sid Eudy, dear friends and family, I am deeply saddened to share that my father Sid Eudy has passed away after battling cancer for several years. He was a man of strength, kindness, and love, and his presence will be greatly missed. We appreciate your thoughts and prayers as we grieve this loss. Details for the memorial service will be shared soon. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, Gunner Eudy, the son of Sid Vicious, aka Psycho Sid." And that's the unfortunate part of being fans of, you know, public figures, wrestlers, and that's a part of life. But we wanted to tap in because we did what I believe is the last interview with Sid Vicious a few weeks
yeah,
ago.
we did. But like with that being said, Gamaj, you were actually the person that got to talk to him. What are your thoughts and feelings? Gamaj might be a little frozen right
I
now.
mean, just meeting him in person, it was. I'm still frozen, or I'm good.
Nah, you're good now. You popped in.
See, y'all able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we hear you.
Okay. No, just meeting him in person was just okay. Yeah, meeting him in person was just a phenomenal feeling. Talking to him, from what you see in wrestling, his persona, the way he is in person, it almost makes everything seem like he was so much even better than the person he was as a wrestler. He was very kind, more kind that you could have expected. When you see somebody that is such a big figure and has been a figure that has been very intimidating, again, from wrestling wise, not like in person, you never would have thought that. And to have spoke to him, what, a few weeks to a month ago, like that's
About a month
crazy to
ago.
me how soon that was.
Yeah, did he seem when
Yeah,
you because you talked to him for a few minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that, right? Did he seem because we've seen this now where people may be sick and they don't go public. You know, they don't want people to worry. They don't want people to,
yeah,
to think bad things and the negative thoughts and things. So they don't for whatever reason. Maybe they knew, maybe they didn't know. But and it seems like they did because his son said something. But it definitely seems, you know, it just seems like fast. Like, man, we just talked to the guy a month ago. We just talked to Sid Vicious. You just talked to him specifically.
yeah,
You just talked to this man 1 month ago, and he was willing to do an interview, right?
yeah.
So,
Like,
so with
like
that,
if,
did he seem like did he needed helpers or handlers? Because he's a big guy.
honestly, he looked fine. I know that I, a few people that I'd seen him, at least when I did the interview with him, only a few people said that he looked a bit fragile, but I didn't think of it like that because Saint no young dude. I just figured for his age, he didn't look bad. So I'm not thinking of it like that. But he was
Right, right,
standing
right.
up. He didn't have no cane or anything like that. He didn't move like he was disabled. Like he looked like he was fine.
Right, right. But again, you never know the struggles that people may endure behind closed doors, which is another that's another topic. But and only he knows, and the people that
Yeah.
may be around him 24/7. But it's it in 1 week we had an interview with Sid, we did a double up with Sid, and we dropped a video. I'm using the thumbnail from that video, the Sid Hall of Fame or We Riot 2025, which I think two things are going to happen. One, R.I.P. I deepest condolences from the Attitude Era podcast to the family of Sid Eudy. to the friends of Sid Eudy, to the associates of Sid Eudy. That's first and foremost before anything else. And then he entertained us through our childhood. So it's the unfortunate news that has to get covered. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like I think the Hall of Fame question. First of all, I think we answered that question. And Gamache was on that episode too, where we
Yeah.
did the Sid Hall of Fame 2025. What will be your? Do you think Sid should have his own thing, or just the normal class, six people and go in, or should Sid this year, should we just take a back seat and put maybe one or two people in there, maybe lower the number a little bit?
I don't know about if he should be headline or not. Like that, I don't know yet. But I feel like after what just happened, it's no way you don't put him in. Like he has to get in. He has to get inducted. That's without question. And
I,
it was already long overdue to begin with.
it was long overdue, and then I think to most people's surprise, in the interview that you had with him on here, that said he's still under contract. So I guess it's like a Legends contract or something, something to that extent. Did he reference that any more than that? Maybe outside the interview or something.
Outside of the interview, he didn't really dive into that much. If
Right, right,
anything,
right,
after
right,
the
right.
interview was over, it was just a bit of small talk and just sharing a few laughs and him enjoying the people that came out to see him.
See, and that's another thing too. Like, man, people like Sid can affect so many people in ways. Like my first memories of him was in WCW when he was, I think, a Four Horsemen member, maybe give or take before that. That's just like me off the top of my head remembering back and being like, man, this guy is freakishly scary. You know what I'm saying? Not because he had a ghoul
Yeah,
or a mystique, but because he was like physically imposing and he was always yelling. Um, so he looked the part of what a wrestler was. You know what I mean? What was your first memories of Sid?
yeah.
What was your
For
what do
me,
you remember your first memories of?
it
Hmm?
was around the time he started teaming up with Undertaker, because I remember they had a little alliance going on before they led to the main event for Mania for the belt. That's around the first
Okay,
time
okay.
I got familiar with Sid and then checked his other history and then caught up. Sid for me
Mm.
was like, when I say the opposite of Kevin Nash, because Kevin Nash was a big guy, but he also came
Right,
off
right,
as
right.
like a playboy kind of feel. Sid didn't give me that feel. It was this dude is this dude is big and he is intimidating.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, it's crazy because we talk about the life and time. We had another video, we talked about it, but we're definitely gonna have to rehash some things because we talked about the double up, we talked the interview, we had all these things. But like when you think about Sid's career and how much he accomplished, he was in the main event picture. I mean, the majority of his career. WrestleMania 8,
Yeah,
I think I'm like 7, 8, 9, 10, in that range. And he was wrestling Hulk Hogan in the main event. So that's before your time of when you said, because when you said that's around 97 ish when he's going up against WrestleMania 13. Yeah, that's WrestleMania 13. So that's like 97. So you think about that. And then, he goes back to WCW. He has
yeah,
another world title run. And he goes against Chris Benoit. He gives Chris Benoit his first world title win, right? So it's like this guy was in the main event. He was leading um that charge. What was your favorite version? What was your favorite version of Sid? Now looking back and seeing what you saw.
um, my favorite's got to be his. I want to say his first initial run as world heavyweight champion was my favorite.
Which championship? Gamache?
but I do think when it, the WCW Heavyweight Championship,
Okay. Okay.
WCW that championship, the World Heavyweight Championship,
Mm. So I think for me, my favorite
that
time,
was
even
my
though he,
favorite. But the main reason, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead. I think there's a delay, and I'm just learning that now. Like, okay, there's a delay, so yeah, I can see
Oh,
it. There's a
okay.
delay.
Now I was gonna say the
Yeah.
main reason why that was my favorite one is because that was the main version of him that I grew up on. Like right after I caught up with Sid initially, that's when it was like, okay, from here I am following him. So that was why him at that point was initially my favorite.
Yeah, I think it's wild because he was in so many different title pictures when Sean well, I can't say Sean and Razor, but when Sean was ascending to the world title picture, each time he had to come across Sid. Um After SummerSlam where he beats Razor Ramon in the ladder match? Yes, SummerSlam ladder match. Um
Yeah,
Raw goes off the air for like 2 weeks. I think they have that dog show, I think, or something like that, right? And they come back, and Sean takes on Psycho Sid. He has to use like two super. This is before the era of hitting him with 1,000 finishers, and he has to use two super kicks to put Sid down. And Sid he could always fit. And then later, world title '96, Sean goes on to win the world title, and the guy who dethrones him there is Sid in Madison Square Garden, which I think is my favorite Sid
yeah,
moment. Sean is the baby face, Sid is the heel, but Sid goes into a loud pop in Madison Square Garden. Matter of fact, it's a pretty famous like little clip where Sid, I don't know who this guy was, but his face, you know what I'm saying? He dapped Sid gave him that dap. Like the master and the ruler of the world was on top. You know what I mean? And that's 1996 Survivor Series November, him defeating Shawn Michaels in the Mecca, Madison Square Garden. There was like, I don't think there's any Sid moment for me, that's higher than that. And I'm a Shawn fan. I was a Shawn stan at that point, 96. Like, but I was like, I was even saying that this is the master and the ruler of the world, Psycho Sid. Um, that was definitely up there for me. You know what I mean? And WWE definitely had stake in him, and I'll prove it to you because if you go on to that's the November period, right? Survivor Series. The next month is December's In Your House, but at that time it was titled "It's Time," which was Vader's slogan. Where if you listen to like Jim Cornette and stuff, they talk about Vader was supposed to be the guy going to Survivor Series, beating Sid in their number one contender match. Vader go on to Survivor Series and dethrone Shawn. So therefore, the December pay per view, it's time. It's Vader time, right? It was marketed for Vader, but they saw Sid, man, and you just can't knock that aura that Sid had. So they put Sid in the front program, and Sid was that dude. He was that dude. You talking about what, man? What was your favorite Sid memory or time, man? Because like we got to give people their flowers, and that
My signal's bad, so I'm not gonna talk too much. I'm just here to kind of observe the conversation because I don't want to get to talking and get choppy or cut off. But I definitely want to say peace, love, and light to the Eudy family and all the fans around the world
absolutely.
because Sid did feel the love in our interview. He felt the love that day at the Wrestling Universe with Gamaj when we did the interview. And we got the world talking about the big man one more time. As a wrestling fan, as a fan of Sid,
In the words of Mantis in Infinity War, I think it's happening. I think he got choppy. Gamaj, you choppy too? No,
I hope not. Am I
you're just
choppy?
perfectly still. No, no, you're not choppy. You're perfectly still. So
Oh,
he's, oh yeah. Archie is having technical difficulty. You see, he's driving, but that's how much it affected. Like, as soon as we heard about this, it was like we just did a Sid Appreciation Week, not even a month ago, where we ran the double up for
I,
Sid, where we ran his interview, where we ran Sid Hall of Fame 2025 is the hashtag. The episode is Sid Hall of Fame 2025 or We Riot. And now it's like now he won't he's not here to see that happen, which is the problem I have with some of these Hall of Fame selections. Um, it's like we're waiting to too late, you know. Um, but we talked about Sid in our favorite moments. Do you have a favorite match, like a specific like? Oh man, I gotta take Archie down, man. I'm gonna take Archie down for a little bit, because he is moving at 2.5 frames per second at this point, but he just tapped out. He'll be back though. He'll be back. But yeah, Gamache, you have a favorite match? A match that you, if people with Sid's passing, if you had to say, hey man, there's a match I want you to check out for Sid, it'll make you a fan. What match to grab it? What match jumps out for you? Any in particular
Hmm,
match?
that
What?
would make them a fan.
Hmm?
You know what's crazy when it came down to Sid, and this is not to say he had any bad matches. I just felt like anytime I've introduced somebody to Sid, we see his presence. Any match he had, any promo he was doing, his presence, especially for a big guy at that time, was different compared to anybody else's because he was one of the more legitimate big guys that gave you that intimidation. Sid. The main match that I will say I've always replayed because this is again when I first got put onto him, and it's still one of his highlights is his Mania match with Undertaker. Like
Mm,
I've watched that probably more than any other match he's had.
good choice. Good choice. And I think that pinnacle was WrestleMania 13. And I've referenced that on several things about Bret Hart with starting the Attitude Era and stuff, but I always reference that match because before it starts, Bret Hart walked out and tried to cut a promo, and Sid kicked his ass up out that ring with a power bomb from hell. Talking about if you don't shut your whiny ass up. Yo, shout outs to him and Brett, Sean, and Taker putting that all together. But definitely check out WrestleMania 13. I usually don't plug things, but if you don't have well, there's ways around it, but I would say like Peacock has a WWE catalog where you can go back and check some of these things out. Um I just give and just show the love, you know what I'm saying? Because things come down to data and analysis, right? And if WWE sees a huge surge in Sid matches and things like that, I think that would speak volumes. Social media speaks volumes. Hashtag Sid HOF 2025. I think that also needs to be said and done until we see it, because a lot of, I mean, Gamache, you said it yourself, right? It's overdue. It's overdue. Um, what was
Yeah,
one of your
right
highlights
overdue.
of your interview? Because you were Sid don't even pop out for interviews like that, but you got to do one with him about a month ago, about 1 month ago. So what was your highlights from that interview, man? From for you, for your personally.
Um, as far as just interviewing him,
Hmm.
I was surprised he was willing to do it because normally when we interview everybody thus far, it's been we're sitting outside. I was surprised he wanted to be face to face. Like I was like, oh,
Right.
okay, this is gonna be different. So I'm really just looking up at him, and it was like I was so thrown off by that, and then to have him talk about um honestly him talking about being in the Hall of Fame was something
Mm.
that it made me appreciate that because it showed just as much as fans we felt that it was long overdue for him to be in there. He felt the same way.
Right. Right. Um, man, and now, it's always super sad when anyone passes. And it's also sad in the sense of how right now we're talking about getting him in the Hall of Fame, and we're talking about it a month ago. And Archie Carter actually said this in uh the Sid Hall of Fame or We Riot video where we did about 1 month ago during our Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Psycho Sid Appreciation Week. Um, making sure people get their flowers before they pass away. And that is a problem.
Right.
Um, that is a problem. I feel like sometimes with this Hall of Fame, we're waiting too long. But the unfortunate thing that we seem to forget is tomorrow's never promised. So, I would like to encourage all people watching, whether via Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever the case, man. When you got people that you love, or you felt like you ain't dap them up in a minute, or you ain't reach out to them, man, because you don't. I don't think no one knew except for maybe his close circle about Sid's health condition of him having cancer. His son just put that out there today. So I would definitely encourage everybody, man. If you haven't talked to your moms, a brother, a friend that was, what I'm saying, they were there when you was down bad. I would recommend it, man, because you don't want to wait until a point where you can't say it, or they can't converse back or reciprocate those feelings back to you. Even if they're not going to reciprocate those feelings back to you, you know what I mean. Don't wait, man, because you know people deserve their flowers. Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Sid Psycho Sid, no matter what you want to call him, the man is Sid Eudy under any title, any moniker, right? He deserves his flowers. He deserves his Hall of Fame. But that man entertained for years. Y'all remember Shockmaster when he tripped through that? Go watch that clip. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see a funny how focused and funny Sid could be at the same time, that man didn't break a smile and kept cussing. And I don't know who was in the background of that video that said, "Who the fuck is this guy?" But yo, when Shockmaster comes through on WCW as the tag team partner for Sting and Davey Boy Smith taking on the Harlem Heat and Sid Vicious. Yo, Ric Flair even dipped off in the back. Yo, just go watch that clip, man. Where Shock, I can't even, you know what I'm saying? Yo, the one guy after it happens, he keeps his composure and then he rolls with the punches is Sid, and Sid's like, "You don't mean nothing to me, boy." Like, yo, my man was top notch, professional, man, top level, and it's pure comedy, man. But for today, there is a Raw recap tonight, but today you see it on the bottom of the screen. Unfortunately, is that Sid Eudy has passed away at the age of 63. His birthday was December 16th, which has not come for to make him 64. So Gamage is on. Archie was here with us. He has bad signal, as you saw. He was driving, so he was trying to tap in too. It is a little emotional. So, well, it's a lot emotional, depending on how close you may or may not have been, what Sid may have meant to you in memories and matches, and just if he was your favorite wrestler or not. Um, but Gamage did the last interview. We had an interview with him 1 month ago, and I don't know if he had been anywhere else. WrestleMania had picked it up, and several other wrestling purists, No DQ, What Culture, and now within about 1 month time frame, man, he has transitioned. Right, he has transitioned. Gamage, you have any other input or things you want to say or ask? Any save rounds? How about that? Any save rounds? There's a little time delay between
The
us, y'all.
only thing I want to say is, sorry. The only thing I want to say now is, Sid, you are somewhere way better than you already are now. Thank you for what you've done for us, for the wrestling community, and to the family. My sincerest condolences, and just thank you for everything.
Yeah, I definitely want to echo that sentiment, man. Rest in peace to the legend, uh, the master and the ruler of the world, Sid Eudy. I think at this time, if you don't have anything else, I'll just take us off screen. leave this up for about 10 seconds, right, as a salute and a way to, just to honor and thank him at the same time. So again, unfortunately, Sid Vicious has passed away. Sid Eudy, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, Sid Justice, WWE superstar and legend, multiple time world champion. He has passed away in transition um, today. So um, I will take us off screen and it'll be a 10 second and then we will go off air and we will see you all later. And that's it. I mean, that's all I can really say, man. So talk to y'all later. We'll see you tonight.